All right, Rebecca's going to let everybody in and I'll welcome everyone and then I'll introduce you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So nice to see everyone. Hi, Brian. Heidi, Rich. Hi, Alex.
Hi, love.
Hi, Marilee, Jeff. John Hickey.
Hey, stranger.
Bill.
I feel like it's been a whole day.
It's been a whole day since I saw you yesterday on the Lunch and Learn. We had a great, for those of you that didn't join us yesterday, we had a great Lunch and Learn led by one of our board members, Pablo Fernandez, and he led us all on a meditation. It was really grounding and wonderful.
Should definitely watch it.
We have a really great group. We have almost 30 of us joining us tonight. So I want to keep us all on time. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Hi, Michelle. Michelle Riley, so nice to see you. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I'm just going to go over a few Zoom rules really quick. Just remember to mute yourself when you're not talking. We are going to have time for sharing and discussion after our inspiration led by Emily Zong tonight. And I'll open that up for a little bit of discussion at the end when Emily's done. And you can also type into the chat if you have any comments or questions that arise during the meeting that you want me or Rebecca to address or answer. So I just want to say welcome. I'm so happy to see all of your faces. This is one way that we're able to stay connected during this time of COVID. Many of you have been to our monthly core team meetings that we hold in our office on the regular basis, and they really are a great way for you to stay connected to Autism Tree and get involved and volunteer, find out what you feel passionate about. And if you don't already know, since shelter in place went in order in March, we've actually adapted 17 of our 20 programs to be virtual during this time, which is pretty incredible that we were able to adapt that quickly and pivot. So if you have a kiddo or if you want to volunteer and you haven't yet signed up your kids or volunteered yet for an event, please reach out to me and Rebecca. We're going to talk about that later. I also just want to give you a little update of what Autism Tree has been doing. Over the past 100+ days, we have reached just almost 280,000 people through our social media. That's our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube, which is really incredible. It's the largest impact we've ever made because we never really focused that much on social media in the past. But now that everything is virtual, that's been a priority for us to reach our families. We've also now have 155 impact videos on our YouTube channel. If you guys are not subscribers to our YouTube channel, it's easy, it's free, it takes 1 minute. You can become a subscriber. We'll put the link in the chat. And it's a great way to follow us and see what we're doing. And many of you have posted videos, many of your kids have. So thank you for doing that. We posted 118 of those videos since March 10th. So that just kind of shows you how much content we've been cranking out since we started shelter in place. And since the end of March, we've actually hosted 65 virtual events. I can't even believe that it's June already. I feel like we're in a time warp. I still feel like we're in April. It doesn't really make sense to me that we're in June and we're in summer, but we are. And we have 25 upcoming events between now and the end of July. So if you haven't volunteered or want to get your kiddos signed up for something, please reach out to me and Rebecca. There's a lot that we'll talk about later that they can get involved with. So all that being said, I would like to introduce Emily Zong. Emily is one of our volunteers. Emily came to us as a sophomore, right, Emily? I think you were a sophomore? Yes. And Emily's friend Nithya, who's now a junior at Yale University, created our Girls in STEM program. And when Nithya graduated high school and went to Yale, she handpicked Emily to lead the program while she was gone. And Emily has been running it ever since. And Emily is a 2020 graduate of Canyon Crest Academy. So congratulations, Emily. And she is on to UC Berkeley in the fall. and she's going to be studying cognitive science. So I know that you're going to do big things, and you know that if we were in person, we'd be having a big graduation celebration and a big cake for you tonight. I'm sorry that it has to be over Zoom, but we're so proud of you. And we asked Emily to lead the inspiration tonight because she's kind of on her way out of Autism Tree, and she's been running this program for 3 years. If you don't know about Autism Tree, we have 20 different programs and services that are all free for our kids and families. And then each program and service has a volunteer director or multiple people that lead the program. So Emily's been leading this program that's been meeting once a month for the past 3 years for our girls with autism. And it's been, I think you've had on average like 12 girls every time, between 8 and 12 girls. And they're mostly middle school to high school age. So Emily's going to talk a little bit more about that program and lead us in her inspiration. So everyone, welcome Emily. Give her
Thank you.
a little round of applause.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Emily Zong, and I am the current director of the Girls in STEM program here at ATPF. Though, as Lisa mentioned, I will be passing the program on as I've just graduated. But I'm here today to share about what inspires me and what I've learned volunteering at ATPF. During my time here, I have truly learned so many different life lessons of perseverance and patience, etc. But the biggest lesson that I have learned is to celebrate and appreciate all victories, even the smallest of ones. Next slide. In a study of how everyday life inside organizations can influence a person's performance, researchers analyzed nearly 12,000 diary entries from 238 employees across 7 companies. What they found was that capturing small wins every day enhances a worker's motivation. Simply put, recording progress in some way helps to boost our self-confidence and can be put toward future successes. Next slide. A quote that sums this up nicely is, "It's the small wins on the long journey that we need in order to keep our confidence, joy, and motivation alive." And this quote was said by Brendon Burchard, who is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. Next slide. However, we don't need fancy studies to prove to us how powerful celebrating small wins are. We can see the effect of them right before our eyes in our daily lives. For example, during the Girls in STEM classes, I can see the power of celebrating small wins every class period. When a girl, Ashley, for example, the one on the right, finally gets her popsicle stick cable to work after working on it for the past hours, she will throw her fist into the air and smile as we all cheer her on. Or Megan, for example, when she gets her toothpick marshmallow tower to stand up and excitedly shares her small feat with all the girls around her, and they all smile and root her on. The happiness these girls each get from small victories is what motivates them and me to move on to the next larger scale activity, whether that be building a bigger tower or making the catapult work to launch objects even further. Their triumphant feelings and happiness for accomplishing each task are what causes them to strive for yet another victory. The girls are always so happy and overjoyed at the simplest of wins, keeping them motivated to tackle a more difficult task head on. They have inspired me to have this mentality in order to have the motivation to always keep going, even in challenging times like these, where it is so incredibly difficult to feel motivated and productive. For me nowadays, it can be as simple as sticking to my favorite workout plan or mastering a favorite dish that I've been working on to perfect. Now, next slide. Now, how to celebrate small wins, you may ask. There are 7 simple tips that I found that work for me, being the first is notice them. Second is get excited about them. Third is communicating small wins, whether that be over lunch or dinner with friends, family, or people you love. And the fourth is establishing habits that will help you make small wins every day. The fifth is living in the present moment and acknowledging it. 6 is rewarding yourself. And 7, and last of all, is to create a plan with smaller goals that will lead you to achieve your larger goal. In the fast-paced world that we live in now, where a common mindset is, okay, what's next, and constantly go, 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 I've realized with the help of my ATPF girls how incredibly important it is to celebrate small victories and accomplishments to keep me grounded and happy. Taking the time to celebrate and appreciate everything we accomplish allows for me to be humbled and grateful for what I have and am fortunate enough to be able to do, and pushes me to be motivated to tackle whatever else is in front of me. I encourage all of you to go forward with this mindset and remember that it's the small things that add up and the simple things in life that matter. Small wins do not change the world, however, they can put a smile on our faces and help us gain some confidence. It is so easy to get stuck on noticing all the bad things going on in our lives and forget to see the small wins and all the positive things that we are accomplishing. Small wins give us the strength to reach further and try to accomplish more. Hence, they are what I found to be essential in my process of growth. So I encourage all of you to take the time to notice your small wins and to appreciate them and yourself too. And lastly, now I'll open it up for discussion, or if anyone wants to share something from this week that was positive or a small win that made them happy. And yeah.
Emily, I love what you shared. And I just have to say that I've been at Autism Tree 12 years this month as my work anniversary since I met Dana and started working with her in June 2008, which is hard to believe. But Dana, as a leader, and many of you who know her will know this, it's all about celebrating the small wins. We've celebrated with coffee, every kind of small win you can imagine. When we have a good meeting, when we have a good site visit, when we serve a family that needs to be served, it could look like anything, but really pausing and stopping to celebrate those small wins is, I think, what keeps you motivated to perform better and to keep moving forward. So if anybody wants to share in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself right now and say your name and where you are in the world, and maybe share a small win that you've had today or this week or during this time of shelter in place, we would love to take the time to hear from you guys if anybody would like to share. So just wave your hand or unmute yourself if you want to share. Oh, Jeff, go ahead.
I was saying in the chat wall, I think now more than ever, we need to be celebrating small victories, and we need to, we've got to focus on just one little thing, during this crisis of coronavirus, and we have to, as a community, have to come together and celebrate just any small victory where in like daily life, just one small victory can mean a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing that. I want to share one. I want to share my personal one. I'm having a baby in about 6 weeks, and I call it actually a big win, but a small win would be that we actually went through bins and bins and bins of baby stuff and got it all organized for the baby. And that's been on my list to do for like almost 9 months. So that is not a small one, it's a big one, Emily, but I want to share it because it felt very overwhelming to do that. But I finally got it done, and now I feel like, whoa, all right, now I just need diapers and I'm ready to go. So I feel like I'm ready. But that was like one day of my life, and it was a lot of work, but I feel so much better having that done. I know John wanted to share. John? There he is.
I did?
Yes,
sure, I will.
saw you wave your hand.
I did? Okay, I waved my hand. Yeah, subconsciously waved my hand. I would say my win this week in our ATPF family was one of our kiddos had his 15th birthday. Little background on the family. They've been homeless since we met them last June, living in a hotel down in the Midway district. His birthday was Monday. I just saw it on social media, and I just reached out and asked the mom. I go, "Hey, you guys doing anything?" She goes, "Nah, no, we don't really have." I'm like, "Okay, what do you want for dinner? What do you want?" So I rode down there, took Monk out to dinner. We got a couple of burgers, talked to his mom, and she was about to get a new apartment, and she said they were meeting the next day to try to push it through. She's been working on it for over a year. Prayed with her and Monk about it. Tuesday they signed the papers. Wednesday they moved into their new apartment. So I would say that's a pretty small win for me, a pretty big win for them. So
Huge win.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, John. I love that. Rich, I would love it if you shared, Rich, about a win with your son, Brett.
Sure. So, you know, there's so many things at time that you might think, oh no, we can't do this, we can't do that. But one of the things we did is double down on Brett's ABA, and so we're doing it over the computer, you know, through Zoom, and we have 3 sessions, actually 4 sessions now, and each session's focused on different things. So kind of like what Emily said, we're chipping away. Every week there's something we're working on in 4 different areas. But one of the areas was Brett wants to be an executive chef. He's declared that. And on one of the ABA sessions, it was kind of hard to do, but I was holding the MacBook up, and one of our ABA folks was teaching Brett how to cook some Filipino style food, and he made a whole dish. It was really fantastic. It was pretty complex, and it was a big accomplishment. And that happened about 2 weeks ago. And then this week he signed up for a culinary camp. So they're little tiny milestones that I think will ultimately affect the big picture that's so.
Rich, I love it. I just think that everything you just shared about your kiddo, I mean, it's what we try to do at Autism Tree is, you know, you find your kid's passion, whatever that is, and then you follow that, and then you encourage that and try to inspire them to encourage that as well. And you know that we have lots of chefs that we work with, including, you know, Pablo, one of our board members, and
Right.
One of our strong dads is a chef, and he runs a big kitchen. So we have lots of chef connections when Brett's ready to go to the next level. And he's after you, Rich, because Rich is, if you don't know Rich is a very accomplished home chef, I would say. So Brett is definitely taking after you, Rich, that's for sure.
Little Chef Boyardee with some parsley on top.
Yeah, that's right. Would anybody else like to share?
I want to say something. I just feel like I've been trying to do more ATPF stuff like for a while now, but I just couldn't get to it. But now with everything virtual, I find like, a lot of people don't like it, but like for me, I find like I can do more stuff actually, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So I'm taking full advantage. So, and I do hope like we keep, like even when normal times come back, we keep some parts of it like virtual so that people can easily like get into programs.
Yes, thank you for that feedback, Padmini. I really appreciate it. And that's a lot of the feedback that we've been hearing from our kids and families as well. And I have to give a shout out to 2 board members that we have on the call tonight, Phil Sensical and Alex. I just wanted to say hi to both of you. It's always fun when we have our board with us. Do you guys want to share any wins? A small one or a big one that you've had in the last couple of days or at home this last
I've got
week?
a small one to share.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So my wife has been at home with 3 kids, you know, doing distant learning for months now. So it's a little crazy around here. Everyone's cooped up all the time. And we got a nice reprieve this week. She signed both the boys, my son Jack, who's on the autism spectrum, and my son Hank, ages 7 and 6. She signed them both up for a week-long zoo camp. And Jack, who's on the spectrum, he loves everything like animals and nature. He really loves like the farm program we do through ATPF. we were a little worried if Jack could do a week-long zoo camp, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, just with like his typical peers. We let the zoo folks know that he has special needs, but we didn't get any pushback from them. They took him Monday morning, and he's just apparently just been doing really well all this week. So small wins. My wife gets a break. The kids are out of the house for 6 hours a day all this week, and Jack is doing zoo camp with all his friends, his zoo buddies. So that's what I'm celebrating.
That's a huge win. That's not a small one. That's a big one for all of you guys. I love it, Phil. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Anybody else want to share before we move on?
I have a quick one. This is Carlos.
Yes. Hi, Carlos.
My daughter's in her early 30s right now and doing quite well, but diagnosed on the spectrum at the age of 4, did not speak till the age of 5. But I always like to say that enough small wins will make a big win. That was my management style at work, and and certainly I think it's a thing you have to think about when raising kids. But with my daughter, when she was young, she could not communicate, and so all she would do is yell. And she was going to become an opera singer, so you can imagine when she yelled at the age of 3, she had a heck of a yell. And she would wake up the neighborhood. But one time I remember she was just out of control emotionally. That's what happens. They get so stressed. They can't communicate. They can't tell you how they feel. And they get so stressed out. And she was yelling and screaming. And we had just gotten a new dog, a boxer puppy. And I didn't know what to do. So out of the blue, I just said, well, I picked up the puppy and put it on her lap. And she calmed down. And she began to pet the puppy. And that was really her first step toward coming out of that shell, coming out of that problem. Because when she calmed down, Mom and I went to her, oh, it's so nice when you're calm. You're so, and then she finally got positive reinforcement, which every child needs, even if they're on the spectrum. And it really was the first step toward breaking her from this constant thing of yelling and screaming and just being out of control. And eventually now she's, as some of you know, graduated from Miracosta College, graduated from Boston Conservatory, has a budding singing career, and now she can use that loud voice for her good. But it was that first step, and that's I think, like I forgot the lady's name, but Miss Zhang was saying, is you celebrate the small victories. And you do what you can, especially when your child's on the spectrum, to help the child get small victories. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you, Carlos. I love it. I think that, Emily, your inspiration is so timely right now, especially while all of us are, feeling like we can finally come out of quarantine a bit. And then in California, the cases are back up, so everyone's kind of coming back in. But if we don't celebrate the small victories every day, we will go a little nutty. So I think that we needed to hear that right now. I know that I did. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to say a little bit more about Emily before we move on. Can you pull up the next slide, Rebecca? Emily has been a high school student and an incredible leader for our Girls in STEM program at Autism Tree. Everyone asks us all the time, why do you have 20 programs? You only have 2 full-time staff. like why do you do so much? And then all the screenings, and then the neuroscience conference, and then the fundraisers we have to do, every couple of years. But when we have kids like Emily and young people like Emily coming to us with passion and heart, saying that they want to lead a program, how can you ever say no to that? I mean, you never know what kind of door is going to open. And she has directly impacted the lives of these girls so massively. So we have a little certificate for you, which we will get to you in person, Emily. This is just what we have for today. But I'm just going to read it to you. Thank you, Emily, for being a shining light to the San Diego community. You have personally touched and impacted our children and families through your continued dedication to Autism Tree. Thank you for your leadership and vision to sustain our ATPF Girls in STEM program, which has served 35 girls with autism since September 2018. Thank you for your continued dedication to our girls, planning and executing 17 workshops and devoting more than 50 volunteer hours. I would say it's well over 50, serving the fund and saving the foundation over $1,300. Thank you for raising over $750 for Autism Tree through your generosity jewelry business. Thank you, Emily. As an ATPF community advocate, you are an agent for change and transformation for children and families with autism. And I just have to say, Emily would always come to our core team meetings when we had them in person, and she would sit there, and she wouldn't say much the whole time, unless I called her out and I asked her to say something. And then at the end of every meeting, she would very quietly come up to me and hand me a check with her own checking bank account for $100, for $150, because on the side, very quietly, she was always selling her jewelry that she makes to raise money for Autism Tree. And that to me just blows my mind in every way, Emily. So we're so proud of you, and we can't wait to see all that you do at UC Berkeley. And thank you for sharing your inspiration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say some closing remarks. I just want to thank ATPF for giving me such a welcoming and caring community of friends and mentors. And I also want to thank everyone for always being so inclusive and kind during the core team meetings, even though I was always the youngest one there. And the passion that everybody here has is always so contagious and is what causes everybody to always want to come back and be part of this community. So thank you, everyone, for everything for the past 3 years.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
We love you. We can't wait to see what you do at Berkeley, and maybe you'll be a neuroscientist on our neuroscience conference one day. Okay, so I'm just going to go over, Rebecca and I are going to highlight some things we've been doing over the past month, and then ways that you guys can get involved if you aren't already with upcoming events that we have. So this is something that's new during COVID. We've actually been hosting teen time social hours on the regular, I would say every other Friday or every Friday, Rebecca, correct?
Yes, every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday. And, we have over 200 teens in our teen time database now, so it grew from 2 to over 200. But I do have to say that a lot of our teens are responding really well, kind of what Padmini shared earlier, responding really, really well to the Zoom platform for them. And so we're getting a great turnout to all of our teen stuff that we're doing virtually, and it's a great way for them to stay connected. And we always need volunteers to be on these calls, capture screenshots, record the meeting, help out with any technical issues that they might have, and just be there to kind of hang out with the teens. We don't want to call it a chaperone. It's like a mentor. But yeah, any volunteers or interns that want to get involved with that, that's a great opportunity for them as well. We also have a Hearts and Hooves therapy workshop program, which we've been running since 2018. And we usually do these in person in Ramona at the ranch. But since COVID, we've had to make these virtual. And this is another one that I think has been really great for our kids and families, because they don't have to drive so far, and they can attend, and they love seeing the animals and the mini horses. So this is also something that's really fun. We have another one coming up in July. So if you want to volunteer for this, please reach out to me or Rebecca. We also have been having some special education advocacy workshops. This is in response to our families who are really wanting guidance, knowledge, information on what is school going to look like in the fall, what is the rest of this year going to look like, what is 2021 going to look like. Michelle McGowan is wonderful. She is a mom. She adopted 3 boys, 2 have autism, and she's actually an advocate. She went through the USD graduate program at USD. And she has been leading these that have been very popular. The last one, I think we had over 20 parents attend. So if you're a parent or if you know of a parent that needs this kind of advice, we're going to be hosting another one in July. We haven't announced the date yet, but we will soon.
And we are also, I want to add, we're also recording these as well. So if you want to see the recorded versions, you can just reach out to me and I'll be able to send them to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, our Lunch and Learn series. These are one of my most favorites, and I have to point out Heidi Moker. Heidi, will you wave your hand, please? Heidi, who is listed as Dolphin Girl, but her name is Heidi Moker. She is joining us from Wisconsin. Heidi used to live in San Diego, and she was one of our core volunteers for 10 years, I can't even remember how long, part of our team. And she moved back home last year, and since then has become the director of a Head Start preschool in Wisconsin, which is ironic because we work with Head Starts in San Diego. So Heidi is going to be our guest speaker at our next Lunch and Learn this coming Wednesday, which is July 1st, correct? Yes, and if you haven't been on our Lunch and Learns, we've now hosted 11 of them. So this will be our 12th with Heidi, and every single one, and I have to say, Marilee is on this call. Marilee, wave your hand. Marilee has also been one of our guest speakers for our Lunch and Learn. And Alex Tacone is on this call. She's been on every single Lunch and Learn, and so is Jeff Snyder from Massachusetts. I mean, if you guys want to stay connected and be inspired, these are amazing workshops that we do every Wednesday. They go from 12 to 12:45, so they're just under an hour. They're quick. And it's a great, great way to stay connected to our Autism Tree team and to be inspired. We also have those recorded, if anybody would like to see the recorded versions of those. Something else that we've been doing during COVID is our virtual adaptive dance classes. So we were hosting these in person once a week at Top Fever Studios in Pacific Beach. But since COVID, we have transitioned them to all be Zoom, to all be virtual during this time. So these are great for kids really of all ages. So if you want your kids to sign up, or if you want to volunteer or intern for this, please reach out because these are really, really fun and we're doing them weekly. So we also have been doing a typers meetup. This was happening long before COVID went into effect. But our typers meetup is for kids that are nonverbal or type or use an iPad or some other device to communicate. And this is another program that has been really successful during COVID because all the kids like being on Zoom. It's an easier way for them to communicate. Otto Lana is 15 years old, and him and his mom, Shelly, Otto's a typer, and Otto was on a neuroscience panel, and Otto and his mom actually created this group at Autism Tree well over a year ago. So this is a great group. If you know of any kids that are typers or nonverbal that would like to, join this group, it's a really wonderful group, and it's been meeting, I would say, twice a month since COVID started. We've also been hosting our Lego groups, which we used to do in the office virtually. So these are very, very fun. Santana, who's not on the call tonight, but Santana was a longtime intern with us from SDSU, runs this group. And if your kids love Lego, this is great. And it's really fun to do over Zoom and a great way for you to sit down and kind of have a designated hour, half hour with your kid that's just about playing. And then that play brings on that communication. That's the goal. The goal is that the play will spark the communication and the back and forth conversation between mom and dad and the kids and the family. So it's a really great group. We have our next one coming up in July, so reach out to me or Rebecca if you want to sign up in any way. Okay, our coding camp. This is brand new. This is actually being run by one of our interns, Ann Lynn. I don't know if Ann Lynn is on the call tonight. I don't see her. But Ann Lynn is a student. She is a junior, going to be a junior or a sophomore, I can't remember, at Princeton University. And she's from San Diego. And she came to us with this idea to create a coding camp. So these are really incredible. Rebecca, what age group is this for again? Is this for?
Ages 12 and up.
12 and up. So if your kid is interested in coding or likes, learning about coding, or maybe he's never done coding before but wants to learn about it, this is a great group to sign your kid up for. Maybe Brett would like that, Rich. I don't know if he is into coding, but he's shaking his head yes. So he might like it. And it's going to be ongoing throughout the summer. And if we stay virtual, it'll be well into the fall as well with Ann Lynn. So Ann Lynn's using some resources from references and some guiding wisdom from Princeton to make this camp happen. So if you want more details on it, I'm not going to go into too many details now, but reach out to me and Rebecca to sign up your kiddo or to volunteer for this. It's a brand new program. Oh, we also had, because we have so many interns right now, Rebecca, how many interns do we have right now?
We have 17 now, almost 18 starting next week. I know our new intern Kylie is on the call, so shout out to Kylie. We have a huge group of interns, which is the most we've ever had before at Autism Tree. And it's been just an awesome thrill having this many people to collaborate with and start new projects that we've never gotten to before. So it's been really wonderful. And Brina trained all of our volunteers. Brina, Lisa, you could say a little bit about Brina and her history with Autism Tree?
Yeah, Brina is a speech and language pathologist, and she's been with us since the very beginning for just over 16 years. I just want to say we have the most diverse group of interns we've ever had. We have interns from SDSU, USD, University of Oregon, University of Texas, Princeton University, really all over. If you want to count Garrett, then we can also say George Washington, because Garrett is technically an intern as well, but really all over. And so we started doing mandatory trainings because we have so many new ones coming in. So we'll start to do these about 3 times a year, 4 times a year, because we get an influx of interns in the spring, summer, and fall. We had our Girls in STEM workshop, which Emily already talked about, and we have our next one coming up in July, and Emily will have a date for that soon. So if you know girls that would like to be involved in this, please send them our way and get them signed up. We're working on who's going to take over the program when Emily goes to Berkeley. We also had a live family yoga session with one of our volunteers, Tessa. Thank you, Tessa, for running this. Yoga is a great way to stay grounded and something fun to do with your family or your little ones. So we had a great response from the first one in June. So our next group is going to be happening sometime this summer. We don't have a date yet, but it will be coming soon.
And a little bit about Tessa, I'll give a little more of a shout out. Tessa was a USD communications intern that started in January with us, and she has such a big heart that she wanted to bring her mom into it, which is who she ran this yoga class with. Her mom was a lifetime yogi for like 30 years, and they had a lot of fun leading this class for our families. So special thank you to Tessa and Teresa.
We've also been hosting our music groups, which we do once a month. They're now virtual. So this has actually been great because we've been able to accommodate more kids. At the office, if you've been to our office, you know it's big, but it's not that big. So when we do the music group, we have to limit it to 10 kids max. But these groups, we've been able to accommodate even more kids. So this is a really fun group. And my son, who's turning 3 in August, loves this music group. So if you have little kids or older kids, really, really fun, and you can get them signed up for our next date, which will be announced soon in July. We have a new program, an adaptive art class, which Alexa will be leading. Alexa, do you want to raise your hand and say a little something about your new art class program?
Yeah, so we're going to be offering these bi-weekly. We're going to be separating them into 2 classes. We'll have one for kids around like ages 5 to 10, and one from ages 11 and up. And really, we've had a lot of parents asking for adaptive art classes because it's such a hands-on motor skill kind of project that also uses creativity. And you can bring in the family and make it a really social thing as well. So I really wanted to get something started. We're really excited because it's actually going to be an intern and volunteer program. So if any of the interns or volunteers have art projects that they think would be really good to do with the kids, we'd love to have you guys come on and help. And it's just a quick 45-minute, really fun, really easy little art projects that people can do in their homes with their kids. So we're really excited about it. Yeah, and our first one is with long-term volunteer Isabel Kaplan, who is awesome and actually started our Girls Summer Art Camp. So we're really excited.
Yeah, Isabel is the reason we have a summer art camp. We've been doing it 10 years with NCL every August, and Marilee helps run that program, so she's very well aware. And Isabel will be leading this from New York City, where she is currently located, and has a big job working for like a high-end cosmetics company. So it'll be fun to have Isabel on as our guest artist. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Those are our upcoming events. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. I like to do this at the end of every core team meeting. What does it cost monthly to run our Autism Tree and keep our doors open? It's a little bit different during COVID, actually, because we have less expenses. We still have a lot of expenses every month, but if anybody wants to guess that doesn't know the number, you could guess or put it in the chat. Or I could just tell you the number. All right, so it costs on average about $15,000 a month to run ATPF during our shelter-in-place order. We do not know when we'll be reopening or doing in-person events, but one thing that we are looking at now is to be CDC compliant, having the office cleaned on the regular by a professional company. So Phil, I don't know if Phil's still with us, but Phil sent us a great referral. We're trying to get 3 quotes. If anybody knows anyone that runs a cleaning company that's doing cleaning during COVID or able to be in compliance with that, please send them our way because we're looking for 3 quotes right now. And that will just be, we don't have to do it like today, but that'll be in the future when we start opening back up. And I also wanted to say that we've actually been able to raise $133,000 since January 1st of this year. About 90,000 of that has come in since March, since COVID started. We recently received an $18,000 grant award from the Carlsbad Charitable Foundation, which was a huge a grant for us. We asked for 18 and we got 18 for screenings, specifically for the Carlsbad area. And we've screened over 20,000 kids, but of course right now during COVID, we're not providing screenings. Once schools go back in session, we're gonna have to figure out how we'll be able to do that to be in compliance with everything COVID related. And I did wanna say one more thing. We just got word, just got confirmation that we are gonna be able to host our ATPF annual Bridge to the Beach summer camp with the San Diego Junior Lifeguards in July. And we're working on the details of what that's going to look like. It's going to be very different during COVID, but it will be our first in-person event that we've been able to host since March. So it's going to be great for our kids. It's going to be social distance and temperatures and masks and everything. But we didn't think we were going to be able to do it at all, and we didn't get the funding for it that we usually do. So thanks to some very generous donors and sponsors, we're able to make that happen for our kids, and we're very, very thankful. So that'll be a big milestone for us because it's the first in-person event that we've been able to do since shelter-in-place went in order. So all that being said, if we were at the office, we would all stay for cake for Emily or a glass of wine for us adults that can have it. But can we take a group picture before we go? So if you want to turn your screen on really quick, and we'll just take a group photo, and Rebecca will take it. So listen to what Rebecca says.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to take a couple because we're in 2 different screens because there's so many people, which is amazing. Okay, so what first version? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Yay.
All right, thank you guys. I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your Thursday and your busy schedules. I know that even though we're all at home, our schedules are not any less busy than they were before, and being with us. And I hope that you all feel inspired. I know I definitely do. Thanks to Emily for sharing tonight her inspiration. And we hope to see you all again very, very soon. Have a beautiful evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.